So in this video we're going to look at the off-road capability of the new Ford Ranger PHEV plug-in hybrid electric vehicle and compare it for fuel consumption to Trevor Ryan's V6 Ranger diesel. So at the start of Allardyce track we're going to be into four-wheel driving. But let's take a look at the fuel consumption that we used on the way down here, which is about 86 kilometres of freeway cruising and a little bit of around town. So Trevor, what did you get in the diesel?
Sitting at 100 kilometres an hour, I got 8.5.
So what do you reckon I got in the petrol electric hybrid?
I would have thought somewhere in the 5s.
So we're starting today with 100% electrical charge, but we're not going to be using the car in a hybrid mode. I've set it to a mode called EV later, and what that is going to do is preserve the battery for later on, which is when we do the full drive track. Now it won't preserve 100% of the battery, it'll only preserve 90%. It's down to 93 at the moment because we've just driven a couple of kilometres, and that's because I want to keep that electrical charge for later on. It will hurt the fuel economy going there, but we will get great fuel economy not using any, hopefully, on that full drive track at all.
I would have thought somewhere in the 5s.
5s. Not so much. 8.8 litres to the 100 is what I got.
Really?
Yep. And why is it? As soon as you start filming, a motorbike always appears. So if you're ever needing help, just take a camera out and a motorcycle would appear from somewhere. Anyway, yeah, 8.8. Now the reason I got that was because I have preserved all of the electrical power of the Ranger for use on the four-wheel drive track. So I'm now going to put it into electric only mode, drive the four-wheel drive track, and then I'm going to smash your fuel consumption. Okay, so I'm a little bit behind at the moment, but you're right.
We'll see where we go.
By the time we finish this four-wheel drive track, you are going to be so impressed with this car.
Should be interesting.
Sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's go.
So having used EV later mode, I'm now going to put it into EV only mode here, which is EV now, all electric driving. And I'm also going to put the car into full drive high by pressing this button here, and that is going to be setting us up to go into off-road. Now, for some strange reason, Ford do not allow you to use electric only mode in low range. It has to be high range. The track's not too hard, so we can do that, and also because we're not going to be really overstressing the car too much, I'm okay to drive it in high range, but it's not ideal that you can't use low range with electric mode only.
So the last time I was on this track doing a recce, I found a shovel, and this time I found a shovel as well. So if you know who this belongs to, you can have it back, but it does look a bit rusty, so yeah, maybe the owner won't be so keen to have it back, but another one for my collection.
So one thing I don't like that Ford have done with this vehicle is eliminate the physical buttons for hill descent control and the rear locker, because that's an extra step to get to them, and when you get in the vehicle it's not immediately apparent it's got those two features which are great off-road. So to get to it, you press this button here, that brings up that screen, and then we've got hill descent control activated here and a touch screen for the locker there. Now that's a backward step. You need these buttons to be one touch accessible, haptic, not on a touch screen, not buried.
Yeah, that's right.
So to find the nearest EV charger, there's a really handy app called PlugShare, which is integrated with Android Auto. So I can show you that now. I can press that, then this, and then there's PlugShare. Okay, and then we just go to nearby, and it's actually found the nearest one. I can go here, nearby, and then you can see it's found the nearest one, which is number 1, the medical centre, so we can navigate there. Tells us it's a rating of 9, payment might be required, and now we are navigating there. It's taking us back out of the track, we'll just ignore that. So I'm barely using any electrical power, and even going down this fairly small hill here, we can see that the car will just do a little bit of regen, even in 4H. So I'm actually putting a tiny bit of energy back into the battery, and I'm actually slightly on the brakes as well as we go down. And now we're in the pure electric mode, but barely using any energy whatsoever, whereas with the diesel car, obviously it's idling at the minimum going down a hill, using energy as opposed to harvesting it. And I'm really liking the silent way that this vehicle just glides. I just love it. I mean, you come to full drive and you get out into nature and you just feel that little bit more connected to nature because there's no diesel noise. It's great. So we're going to charge the Ranger PHEV, and this is how you do it. So we're at the station, and it's a ChargeFox station. My experience with ChargeFox has been very ordinary, so I'm hoping this one actually works. So anyway, we can't unlock it at the moment. So I think what I've probably got to do is go to my ChargeFox app, which is just about here, and then find where we are. It's that one. There's the details of it, and port A and port B. Now it says over here 1 and 2, not A and B, but I'm pretty sure A is going to be 1 and 2 is going to be B. So let's hit unlock for that. And something not working. No, it's good. Please wait, preparing your session. Now I've already downloaded the app. I put my credit card in. If I hadn't done that, that would be taking a while. So the mistake I've made is to forget that the Ranger only takes an AC charger, not a DC, and we are at a DC charger, which does start to limit the public charges you can use. So even if you don't need the speed of a DC charge, it's good to be able to have the facility to actually use it if you're out and about like we are. So we finished Allardyce track. We have done 12.4 kilometres of easy-ish four-wheel driving. Attempted to charge the EV here, which obviously hasn't worked. What's your fuel consumption looking like?
Well, I reckon I'm pretty close. 25.7.
25.7?
25.7.
Wow. that is way more than I thought. Okay. So what's the EV done? Well, I started here at 8.8, but I don't actually know what it is now. The reason is that Ford's trip meter doesn't give me fuel consumption. I'm going to have to work it out manually by adding in the kilometres and then figuring it out that way. But I do know I did not use 1 drop of petrol on that trip. And what that means is that my fuel consumption is going to be quite a bit better than 8.8. So it's definitely gone down, not up. And I'll do the calculations, I'll put it up on the screen now so you can see.
The really good thing is I didn't use a drop of petrol either.
Or drop of petrol or diesel. So how do you feel now, you old dinosaur, in your ancient diesel burning vehicle? How does it feel to be behind the times, Trevor?
I think life's too short for boring cars, Rob. And this has got heart and it's soul.
This has got heart. You can hear the birds and the bees. You can hear nature as you drive along there, and it's so fuel efficient.
When we were out of the car earlier, I heard you coming down the spur. Well, actually, I didn't hear. I just heard this whine, and I thought, gee, it sounds like being home.
What you heard was all the forest animals bowing down and applauding as the vehicle moved through the forest. That's what you heard.
Look, at the end of the day, I think most people who know me, I've been a Holden person all my life, and I really enjoy the Ranger. I've just had 3 weeks in the outback. I sat at about 9.5 the entire trip. I think, you know, horses for courses, this is the future, and people will definitely jump on board. I love this car, so I'm happy.
Yeah, now I should say that we're down to about 25-30% battery on this, so I was hoping to get here, charge it up and go back and all on electric. Even if we were able to charge, I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, time for a coffee, I reckon. So we've stopped for coffee, and unfortunately the car is not charging because, well, I can't charge it, and this would be sort of prime time to literally have your coffee break and throw some electrons into the car, and then off you go. So break over, we headed out to do some cross-axle testing, diesel versus EV. And now a short clip in car going up a hill to give you an idea of how quiet it is.
So by the end of the trip, we'd covered 204 kilometres, of which about 25 off-road. Final fuel consumption, hybrid 9.8 litres to the 100, V6 diesel 10.6. So a win to the hybrid, but it was only able to win because we topped the battery up before we started. Now, if you can do that, and preferably a couple of times during the trip itself, it should come out ahead of the diesels. But if you can't, expect it to be matching them or probably even worse consumption. So to summarise what we learned, electric mode is only available in 4H, which is disappointing. In 4L, you get hybrid mode, so you do get the electric, but it's with petrol as well. Brake traction control is slightly better in EV mode than in ICE mode, but again, you don't really want to be in high range a lot of the time for this stuff. The locker happily works in EV mode with 4H. You won't get regen in hill descent control, but you do if you're just going down a hill, but there's not much regen happening anyway. And remember, there's no spare on the hybrids except for the Storm Track. That's a no cost option. So overall, the PHEV Ranger is just as good as any other Ranger for off-road capability. 4H EV is fantastic. It's really good to drive along pure in electric mode, but unfortunately it doesn't last long and it's only available in high range. So switch back to low range whenever you're doing any steep work up or down on hills for safety and performance. The overall range of the PHEV is definitely less than diesel unless you keep constantly charging it. Pro Power on board is definitely a bonus. You can never find enough uses for that. I would, however, choose diesel for serious touring for the following reasons: range, weight, its PHEV is a bit compromised on payload, and service body. I think that the PHEV makes a lot of sense as an all-rounder, short suburb trips during the week, and then at the weekend you get out, you're towing and you're four-wheel driving.